Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. In today's episode, I want to share with you another one of our accountability sessions. Now, I do this a few times a month, and the response has just been excellent, which I guess isn't a surprise. These are some of the most popular sessions on our site where our clients come in and they share stories about either what got them into trading and really the path that they're going through. And it just gives a lot of insight not only to the newer traders, but it kind of gives them confidence as well, because they start to see that, hey, I'm not the only one struggling, and trader A made mistake X, Y, and Z as well. And it kind of helps bring us together. It introduces sort of a vulnerability that, at a basic human element kind of makes us closer. And you guys have been enjoying it as well. So many people have been commenting on these sessions saying, hey, I love this guy's story. He sounds just like me. He's kind of motivated me to do the same. And that's awesome, because that's what this podcast is for. And I don't want to talk too much in the intro, but I do want to say that I just started a Facebook group for the Trading Coach Podcast. So if you're looking for a place where you can listen to these sessions and maybe come and discuss and talk about them and even spark some ideas for future podcast episodes, make sure you join that Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, go into the search thing, search the Trading Coach Podcast, and there should be something that shows up and says groups. Now, let's get into today's episode. It's a trader whose journey started off with an everyday long London commute, and he just got tired of that and got tired of really working for others. So as he was on his search for maybe some internet type businesses, he stumbled along Forex trading. And one of the things that he liked about it compared to maybe some other internet businesses was that he didn't need to depend on other people. So meaning that his income, right, his livelihood could be based off of his results, right? He eats what he kills instead of having to worry about the politics, right? Does this person like me? Is this job going to stay afloat? Are they going to make cuts? All of that stuff that really introduces a lot of uncertainty in our life and really stops us from being as free and happy as we could be when we have the safety of knowing that we are in complete control. So check it out. As always, let me know what you think. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you rate and review this podcast on iTunes.
All right, everyone. Well, welcome to the next session. We're here with Steven. And is this your first accountability session, Steven, or is this a subsequent one? It is. Okay, excellent. Another first timer today. So go ahead and just kind of start off to the group, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. Well, Stephen or Fitzy, there's often find there's quite a few Steves, Stevens, even a Stevan now in these kinds of groups. So I often go by the name Fitzy, where a lot of my friends call me. So
awesome.
I'm happy for that.
Fitzy, yeah. It is.
Yeah, and there's also another side to that, because Fitzy is he's really a different side to me. So we say
alter ego.
Well.
All right.
yeah. But he's taken over from the old Fitzy, so he's the good, new, knows where he's going, what he's doing with his life kind of guy.
Awesome, that's good to
hear. Yeah, so I come from an engineering background, and I work in the construction industry sector.
Okay.
And in management, and it's really, I'm involved in anything that has air, water, electricity or data flowing through it.
Cool.
In a building. I'm involved in the management and installation of that in new buildings or refurbished buildings.
Neat.
I've been doing that for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
I'm from Liverpool. I'm from Liverpool originally in England, but I've only ever worked in London. So 20 years working in central London, in the city of London, in the outskirts, the other suburbs around London.
Cool.
So I've been a traditional commuter. I don't know what anyone knows of how life is for people who work in London, but it often involves travelling into London every morning. My journey was an hour and a half.
Wow.
And then an hour and a half back again.
Sure.
And that's quite typical.
Yeah.
Quite a few years ago, really, I started thinking, well, I need to set up on my own. I need to stop working for the man. Generate my own income, and I tried that for a little while, and then I realised that apart from just doing my job, I consider I'm good at, I had all these extra jobs to try and do, so I had to try and win work. I had to try and do bookkeeping. I had to try, there was all the other parts of
Yeah.
that add on, and so I started looking for something different. I went to one of these 2-day events where lots of different people speak on different ways to earn a living or generate an income. So I listened to people who were property developers or investors, and people who were writing ebooks, who were making money from eBay, and people who were just all different kinds of internet-based businesses. So I got a bit of exposure to all of that.
And how long ago was that you attended that?
That was probably late 2015.
Okay.
No, sorry, late 2016. But do you know what I realised? I thought I didn't want to be beholden to other people, and I know it sounds quite selfish, but all of the other things I was looking at, there was still a human element to it.
No, I completely understand that, actually.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a bit introverted? I'm just curious.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But what I didn't want to be was I didn't want to have to depend on whether or not somebody liked me, or whether they were interested in what it was I was trying to sell them, or I wanted to look for something, and it took me a while to realise that, and a bit of looking and reading and different ways to earn money. And then I thought, when I saw the Forex trading guy speak, I thought, well, that looks pretty straightforward, because I suppose that's the way you get your initial exposure to, He said it was so simple that even my son does it. He just clicks on buy and he just clicks on sell. But I mean,
clicking is very easy. Yes,
it is.
You do it at the right time, though.
I've mastered the art of clicking. But that was the teaser. That was the teaser. So I went on their like introduction course, and I spent I think it was £2,000 doing that.
Oh wow!
And that got me access for the duration of this course. I can't remember what it was now. And I realised that I liked the idea of that. I liked the mechanics of it. Yeah, I liked the looking for the patterns. I enjoyed trying to apply my mind to it, and it just seemed like something that I could do on my own.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was that.
And what happened? What happened next?
Well, okay, I carried on for a while, and then I went on their next follow-up sort of course, which, looking back, I think I've had to come to terms with the thing. It was like £10,000.
Oh my!
But it taught me a lot of where I should be spending my money and maybe where I shouldn't be spending my money. But
okay,
I did still get exposure to guys who were earning a living trading.
Okay.
So it wasn't all bad. It just wasn't all great.
Well, it wasn't quite enough.
And it wasn't, and there was some internal, like their star trader guys, there was some internal politics going on in their organisation, and one guy left, and then another guy came, and then he got disillusioned because I think behind the scenes it was all about pumping revenue and getting new people to sign up, and he was a bit more, I think he was at the stage of his sort of trading life where he wanted to try and give a bit to traders, in an altruistic kind of way,
right?
But he didn't, he didn't chime with those guys, and then he left, and then it sort of drifted and fell apart a little bit, really.
Gotcha.
So I carried on, and I suppose I was a bit of a break-even trader, really. I had some good months and some bad months.
And when did you find tier one?
I listened to, I found Akil's podcasts.
Okay.
And I listened to a few of them, and and then I just wanted to find out more about what he does, and
cool.
And then saw like Jason, and then saw the whole tier one thing.
Awesome. How long have you been with us?
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, very very new. How have you found everything so far? I guess compared to what you've experienced in the past.
It feels a lot more honest.
Awesome.
Yeah, it
That's
feels
great to hear.
it. Yeah. It comes across uh, um, open and yeah, trustworthy.
Genuine.
Because I've been looking out for an angle, if I'm honest with you.
No,
I've
that's
been
nothing wrong with that. You should look out for the angle. Always look out for the angle. That's important.
yeah,
Oh,
and it's taken me up until this point until I could sort of get onto the course, just with other things that I've been involved in.
okay.
But so I've been leading up to joining Tier 1 since June.
Okay.
So I've been exposing myself to the Tier 1 sort of environment, and I went on a 14-day trial thing. So
Okay.
I made my decision to join Tier 1 a couple of months ago, and then just in the time's right.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear. Obviously, I'm happy you're here. I'm sure everyone else is as well. So that's great.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. So you said you kind of jumped a bit into the courses. Where are you at now, I guess?
Foundation, midway through that.
Okay. And how have you found that so far?
It's okay, and I was tempted. I've got to admit, I was tempted to skip the very beginning parts because I
I've done
know
that
what
already.
candlestick is. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I tried to heed the message from Akil and Jason, and I went through it because I thought I compared it to whenever in work where I'd gone onto a training course before, and it was a refresher course, for instance, and you think, I already know all this, why do I need to go on this? But you always get a little bit more from a recap,
Yeah.
and it's always good to hear somebody explain something in a different way.
That's very true.
So I've enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when people explain things in different ways. Also, when you come back to things that you know already, you come back with a different perspective, maybe, and maybe you say, "Oh, I see how that applies. I didn't get that before." And even if it's just the little things. So, and also when you're trying to follow a specific process for something, even if there's kind of, things you might already know in there might be some things that you don't that are critical to the overall process. So I think what you said is really important to kind of, go back. Okay, yeah, I know a lot of this. It's probably some things that I don't. So those are the important things to pick up on, and then to just start at the beginning, no matter where you find yourself, so you can kind of follow the whole process from beginning to end.
I think so. I'm very focused on not sabotaging, the work that I'm undertaking and the course that I'm going on. So I'm very focused on a plan for me and my family as well. So
Excellent.
My wife and I've got 3 kids.
Kids, very nice. How old are the kids? I'm curious if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Ollie's 23.
Okay.
He's in the States.
Cool.
Playing football.
Oh,
Soccer.
where about?
Soccer. He's at Eastern New Mexico University at the moment.
Okay, very cool. Congrats.
And then my 2 daughters, they are 12 and 9.
Okay.
So and we're moving to live in Australia in a few weeks.
Oh,
so
okay.
There's a bit
Big
going
changes.
on.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Any specific reasons for moving down there, or just a new place to be? New change.
The wife's family are there.
Oh, okay.
And I think she's always wanted to go back, and it's part of her dream. So
Cool.
we're doing that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, good luck with that. That's a intercontinental move. That's not easy.
No, there's a bit to do.
There's a bit to do. To put it mildly, there's a bit to do. No big deal. Cool. Well, that's great.
But it's like for the last few years how I've approached everything. That's the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is just break it down.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
just got to break it down.
I think that's
So
been our
approach.
theme today. I think
Yeah.
setting those big goals and breaking it down into little ones.
Actually, what I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Stefan.
That's it. I think.
Stefan said earlier on about process over outcome chimes quite well with me. I run a lot of ultra marathons.
Okay.
And when I'm in training for that, I see the end result just seems like you're never going to get there. You know, I've got like 100-mile race
Of course, yeah.
in 6 or 8 months. How are you going to get there?
Mm-hmm.
If you think about running 100 miles, it just sounds stupid. If I break it down and I write out a program and I know what I've got to do every week, and then I review that, and then I see whether I'm on track, and just that kind of approach. And I see a lot of parallels actually with
Yeah.
ultra running and with trading in terms of the mindset. I
Yeah,
like the
for sure.
I like the hitting a low point and then realizing I'm hitting a low point, and then telling myself to push on through and keep doing what I know needs to be done. Just having that, being able to recognize when maybe something's not going quite right,
Yeah.
but knowing that you're going to, you've got a plan to deal with it.
Yeah, no, and that's really important, because if you can just get so bogged down and lost in the how am I ever going to achieve the goal, and like we've just been saying since the other session as well, is like just break it down into steps, take micro goals, whatever, and to reach the big goals, and it doesn't seem so bad when you've got a plan. And that's the same thing with the trading, obviously in the skill set, but also when it comes to actual trading. When you get into a drawdown, for example,
Yeah.
and you're losing trades, you have the belief in your back-tested plan that, well, I just have to keep doing the same program, like you said, right? Just following the same steps, and I'm going to get to the end result and goal that you have. And that, which is, of course, is to remain consistently profitable. And it's not any different. And that's really what's happening when you learn the skills, and you learn all the things that you need to do for the race and running, or all the different skill sets that you need. If it's like a triathlon type deal or whatever, you learn all that stuff, and then you're going to use all that stuff, and then you're going to have a plan to use all of it in a proper way to train yourself, and then you're going to have specific, game plan that you have when you go into the race. And for traders, that's the markets. And when you get into the race, for example, into the markets, you've got the plan to follow, you've got the things to execute, and you've got the skills. And now you can believe in all that stuff that you've done, as opposed to just, as we've talked about today, and everyone's probably familiar, you just jump into trading. It's like, well, when I start to lose, I don't have belief. I don't even know if what I'm doing is working or if it's ever going to work. It's so different, but it's so important. And you said that, and I think that's just really important.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've done a bit of back testing,
Cool.
in the past, and half-heartedly, and I wasn't really sure how to do it. So I started off looking at the charts, and I started off downloading Excel spreadsheets of data and looking for turning points and all kinds of weird and wonderful things. And
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting some pointers on how to go about doing that in a really efficient and a thorough way. Yeah.
Awesome, excellent. So I know you said you're in like the foundation course area at the moment, since you obviously just started, so you're pretty new. One thing is, it's awesome that you came on already. So what are the goals that you want to? I mean, you did mention backtesting a little, but what are some of the things that you've got set up for the coming months ahead? I know you got to move, but once that's done, what are your plans?
I haven't been in paid employment since the 16th of August, because that's when I sort of had to give my job up. So I've had plenty of time. I've got plenty of time. So I've put together a whole Design Our Life program for my family, which I've let them into a little bit of, but I'll release the rest of it in good time when I think they're ready.
Cool.
But in terms of the trading, I'm just going to open up my program here. I've scheduled it all out. So I think what I'm going to do is finish back testing by now. The extent of this I don't know, because this was before I joined the course, but my plan is to mid-Feb finish back testing. Now, back testing what? Back testing how much, on how many pairs, or I'm not quite sure yet, but I want to finish back testing then, because I want to start demo.
Sure. I mean, at least one. I would just write in there, backtest at least one strategy on at least one pair on a specific time frame. So make it a little more specific, so you know what to do. And then obviously, whatever your life is going to be like, and think about the time frame that you want to choose as well as. So for that is, should I? Can I check the charts every 4 hours a day? Can I not? Can I only check it once a day? Do I have? Will I have time to day trade actively in the markets? That'll be a little bit harder. I wouldn't necessarily, say that you just jump into that, but if that's what you have time for, there's nothing wrong with backtesting that either. Or is it more active swing trading? Maybe I can check the charts every hour once I know I have a potential setup forming, or whatever my plan is that I've developed. But yeah, make it specific, at least one strategy or method one
Okay.
pair, one time frame that you're going to trade out of a portfolio.
I've written that down.
Yeah.
I have written a little. I've got a little schedule for job free. So if because I might delay going back into employment, or it
Sure.
might take me time. So I've got a little schedule for if I've got a day job, and I've got a schedule for if I don't have a day job.
Awesome.
So I can switch between the two and try and get that in. But I've made a note of that, and then
Good.
demo trading, and I don't know how this is going to sound to the other guys who are listening in, and it might be to do with like unrealistic expectations, but at the moment I've put for at the end of June 2020 to do some live trading.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, that's like over 6 months away. And if you just got one, and the biggest thing, like I just said, like, is just have the one strategy. Obviously don't rush, but there's nothing wrong with that timeline. And if you've got one strategy and maybe you've tested it on, let's say it's swing trading, just as an example, like 60-minute charts or 4-hour, and you've got, maybe 8, if even between 5 to 10 pairs, maybe if it's like 4-hour charts, if it's 60-minute, maybe it's 4 pairs, and you've got one strategy that you're back tested and you're ready to do that. And if it's just the one, that's the thing too, is to be consistent with at least one method. And I know people, like, we want to have the most opportunity because that's what we're trying to seek out, opportunities and have as many as we can in a realistic manner. So if you want more opportunities, if you're swing trading or anything, the easiest thing to do is just, well, let's test another market. Test another pair. Does it work here? Does it work in pound yen? Does it work in pound dollar? Does it work in euro dollar? Does it work in Aussie CAD?
Okay.
And you can add opportunity, but not do anything different as far as the rules are concerned. That way, your consistency for execution in the rule set is very easy. The accountability sessions that I've had before with folks here is I've suggested that as you want more opportunity, test another pair. It's far easier to just do the same method in another place than it is to do multiple methods in
Makes
just
sense.
a few places, because you've got multiple rules to think of. Now swing trading will be easier because you have more time, so that's of course good. Maybe you could trade two signals or two setups that you want, but don't overload yourself with the rules, because you can get confused and maybe make a mistake. And there's always you can always add more later when you get better, right? But if you want more opportunities, you can always just test another market, trade the same thing. That's going to be far easier than trying to add multiple patterns or multiple setups or multiple rule sets to keep track of. So if it helps, I mean, it's obviously whatever you feel is appropriate for you, but I think that's a pretty good way to approach it.
Sensible.
Yeah, no, and I don't think that's unrealistic at all. I know Gabby said very realistic. She said, and I think that's true. So no, I don't see anything wrong with that, as long as you just you got the plan, or you've already got laid out what you want to do. Once you get to the part where you start discussing strategies in the course material, you can then figure out, well, what do I like? What do I like this? So I like that. Well, and just pick the thing that you identify with the most. Don't try to force anything in the beginning. Just make it as easy as possible to enjoy looking for think about how many hours you're going to spend in front of the charts and say, I would enjoy looking for that, whatever the thing, whatever the setup is. So that way you're not, frustrated by the process, and just pick the thing that you identify with the most. There can be some personality stuff in there too, like, counter trend versus trend trader. Do you just like to look for patterns like Gartley, Bat, Cipher, those kind of patterns? Is it more structure-based trading? Is it the combined scoring trading? There's all kinds of things to take in. So when you get there, just kind of, absorb it, think about it, and you're going to have one or some method eventually once you get there. Right now, you might be unsure, but once you get there and you have some options to look at, you can then figure out, well, what fits my personality style? Do I like to be against everything? Am I very kind of rebel oriented in the mindset? Do I kind of like to just kind of follow the flow? So maybe you're a trend trader. That kind of stuff can be important, and you can always adapt or change later. But as far as getting you to the point to achieve your goals, and obviously we all want to get to the point where we're trading consistently profitably as quickly as possible in a well thought out manner, but not rushing. But obviously we want to get there as quick as we can without sacrificing quality. So those would be at least my suggestions for your process.
Thanks, Charles.
Yeah, definitely not unrealistic at all, so don't feel bad about that.
Good.
And obviously, if you come up, if you set big goals, big goals or whatever, and you come up short, well, you'll probably come up further or farther, whichever, than if you set something so tiny as well. So, again, just don't sacrifice the quality, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. There's a bit of that in the background as well,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I need to feel a little bit nervous and apprehensive when I'm writing a goal out,
Mm-hmm.
just because it should generate a little bit of, oh my God, how am I going to get there?
Sure. Yeah. Gabby says, of course, you need the pressure. It's true, and that's the thing, is that the pressure, when it comes to, at least when we talk about being consistently profitable here at Tier 1, is people put pressure on themselves to make money in trading, and they usually really shift the pressure. Which is very hard, by the way, if you have no plan or no expectation that you'd ever make money, is to shift the pressure to growing and achieving skills and achieving goals that will help you earn the end result, which is what we've been talking about, this kind of theme on Friday. So totally true. And it's not, everyone's different, but I think if you don't have some pressure on the goals, you won't feel motivated to do it, or it'll just be like, you just, I don't know. There's
coasting.
Just coasting and not really doing anything. There needs to be some pressure there, to kind of, diamonds are made under pressure, as they say. You kind of need a little bit of a push to get moving. So that's true.
Good stuff.
Awesome. So you've got plenty of goals set up, I think, for like short-term, long-term stuff. Obviously, you've got the move to deal with, but I think you're on the right track.
Yeah, I've got a long, medium, and a short term. So I have a little weekly review of what I've done the previous week, and then I set up what I want to do for the next week, and that's all always with one eye on the medium term goal, and then making sure I'm on track with the longer term goal. I mean, in my day job, I'm constantly writing out little programs for schedule of work, scheduling activities out. So, I'm quite good and used to sitting down and trying to work out a plan and breaking things down.
That's good.
And I've had time recently, which has been a bonus. I've had time recently to actually to do it properly, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, before I've been in a day job for however many hours a day, and you try and do what you can, but you're still only working around your job. So I'm in no rush to start a new job when I get to Australia.
Sure. Hey, if you can avoid it, and it works out for you, obviously do whatever you think is appropriate. But obviously, like you said, the more time you have, it's going to be easier to do those things and to really focus on, the goals that you have and accomplishing them and doing everything that's required to do it. I mean, it's only harder, obviously, like you said, the more things you have to do. So, hey, you never know. Maybe it'll work out and you can focus more on this, and you definitely, the more time you have, the more quickly you can accomplish stuff too. So that'll be good.
I listened to Jason's podcast, so and I managed to put a little buffer aside as well. So
good, awesome.
So that might keep me going for a few months.
That's great. Awesome. Stephen, is there anything else you'd like to share with the group, or anyone starting out, kind of tidbits of advice, or anything else you'd like to share as maybe we start to wrap up?
I think from advice, I think I succumbed to the pressure when I first started out of meeting or ended up dealing with the first Forex teaching program that I came across. And then they gave me the hard sell, and when I look back, I gave in too easily, and I put a lot of effort into getting money to give those guys, because it was the only exposure I'd had, and now when I see, I would say look around, try and do any free trials that people are offering, try and get a feel with the teacher, the educator. See if you can, get some resonance with their approach and how you are as a person. And I feel, I would say, shop around effectively.
Yeah, for sure.
For the newbies.
No, that's really important. Because if you might choose someone that doesn't fit your style, or it's a scam, or many other things. But it is important to kind of, and I think that kind of comes back to changing the internal feelings about So like that at that point, you're trying to look out. You know, you're kind of looking to trading. What's this about? What can I do? How does it work? How can I do it? And it comes to that pressure of, I just need to do it. I just need to trade, and it's going to get you probably trapped into just picking the first thing that might come along because it was there, right? Not because you thought about it and did some research and said, well, that's the right one for me, or I like those guys, or whatever. I think that kind of comes back to an internal mindset of, oh, here's one. We don't want that. This is a really important thing, and it's a big thing that people want to do to trade. I mean, I know they say it, maybe they kind of think it, but the actions don't always line up with. This is a life change. If you want to do this, like people say, oh, I want to make some money. Well, do you want to do this for the rest of your life? Would this be something that you'd want to do? Would you want to do this for the next 10, 20, 30 years or whatever, if you've got that? And if they're just like, no, that's no good. It's got to be something that you really want to do. And that's take some thought, some shopping around, as you said, as to just not rush into it. And that part of that process too is making sure, do I even want to do this? Like I said, do I even like trading, or am I just looking for money? And I understand, and I've been there too.
Yeah,
where you,
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Where you just want to, where you just like, you're in a tough spot and you're just frustrated by your income and whatever. And I get it. I've been there. Sometimes I find myself there. Sometimes, but it's, you got to just think about, just try to not come at it from that perspective and take it seriously, like you said.
And it's the trading isn't the end game, really. In my master plan, it's a tool to get me to where I want to be. So
absolutely,
I've got it will get me to where I want to be. I'm not being dismissive of trading or anything, but it'll allow me to devote the time to the other things that I really want to do, which I've got in mind, and maybe I'll share, in another follow-up session.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think I've said enough today.
No, that's good. The purpose and why you want to do it is important, because I want to make more money. Why? Well, because I can't pay my bills. Okay, so once you can pay your bills, then what? It's got to be something behind there that, there's going to be some things that will help you get rid of the problems you have. That's obviously part of it. But what's on the other side of that? And that's the thing we always talk about, is that purpose. And you said it, and that's perfect. So I think can leave everyone with that one is keep your purpose in mind, and trading is a way to get there.
Charles, been lovely talking to you. Thanks for your time.
You too, Stephen. Great to have you. I'm sure everyone is happy to have you on as well. So maybe come back in a few months' time when you're all settled in over there. And Fitzy, gotta go with Fitzy.
Lovely.
All right.
Cheers.
Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks. Cheers, guys.
Yep. Bye.